It's everyone's favorite day of the week. We're talking Friday. Time for the weekend and for another edition of the Speaking For Him podcast. I'm Adam McNutt alongside the host of the program, Mr. Andrew Gomison.
Hello, Adam. It's great to be with you. And once again, we are profiling a show from my favorite place, or one of my favorite places on earth, Master Arts Theater. We are coming into June this week. And so 6 days after this podcast posts, we will be opening Father Knows Best at Master Arts Theater. And for those of you who are not quite familiar with Father Knows Best, or maybe it's not ringing bells, maybe this will.
Robert Young and Jane White, with Eleanor Donahue, Billy Gray, and Lauren Chapin in Father Knows Best.
All right, and that, of course, was the intro to the classic television show Father Knows Best, and that's the nostalgia that we have the privilege of bringing to the stage for 3 weekends in June. And I'm extremely excited to be a part of this project. I'm co-directing with a great guy by the name of John Miedema, and just very excited to be a part of that. And also, just something exciting coming up in the next couple of weeks. You will be hearing from Lauren Chapin, who is Kathy on the classic TV show. She's all grown up now, and she has a great Christian testimony. She's agreed to come on our show for Father's Day weekend. So we're very excited to announce that and to be putting that together this week for you to listen to very shortly. So continue to listen to our show. Big things happening. I'm just excited about all the opportunities God gives us. All right, well, without further ado, I just want to play today's interview. Often I interviewed the directors of the shows. The last couple shows that hasn't been as possible or as convenient. So today I have for you an interview with Amy and Lilla Hornek. Amy is Lilla's mother. Lilla, I had a chance to work with her in November, December, when we did Little House on the Banks of Plum Creek, or Christmas at Plum Creek. She was one of the girls that played Laura in the show, and she was very good. And now she's playing Patty, the best friend of the youngest daughter, in the Father Knows Best show. And her mother came to drop her off at the theater, or not drop her off, but came to bring her to auditions. And John persuaded her to read, and the rest is history. You got to be careful when you go into the doors of Master Arts. But here is my interview with Amy and Lilla. All right, well, I'm very grateful today to be joined here at Master Arts Theater by Amy Hornek and her daughter Lilla. We're going to be talking today about the upcoming show at Master Arts Theater, Father Knows Best. As those of you who listen to my podcast know, I love to profile these on the podcast, and so I hope that you will enjoy our conversation, and that afterwards you will hopefully come and see the show. We're having a lot of fun putting it together, so let me pull up my questions here. I always like to be prepared. All right, so welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit about Father Knows Best and some of the highlights of working on it so far?
Well, Father Knows Best is a comedy where all the children are starting to grow up and the father's not very happy about that. So he's like, no, you all are staying home. The problem is the mother, both of the daughters and the son all have plans to go. So that's where the comedy takes in.
It's a lot of fun. Do you have any additional thoughts to add?
Well, for anyone who is familiar with the program Father Knows Best, it's the same character. So Father, the mother, the daughters Betty and Kathy, and the son Bud. And it is a comedy, and there's a lot of fun things that happen, and a lot of movement and action in the play. And I think that anyone who comes and sees it would really enjoy it. Anyone in the family.
All right, so let's get a little more specific to you guys and the fact that you're in this show together. First of all, it's my understanding that you had no idea you were even auditioning, Amy, and then before you know it, you're one of the stars of the show.
I was the one who forced her to do it.
So
okay.
That is true.
So tell us the story, Amy.
Yes, I brought Lilla to audition. She has done a show here before, and I brought her to audition, and I was asked, "Oh, you want to read?" And I thought that was kind of funny because I hadn't done that before, but so I did. And then John, the director, had offered me the role of Margaret, the mother, and I was very surprised. So yes.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because there's always certain demographics or roles or whatever that it seems like we don't seem to get enough people to try out, or we would love to have more people try out. As a matter of fact, it was kind of a running joke between John and I every time my mom would bring a kid in that we would try to get them to read for the mom part because we didn't have a lot of people doing that. Yeah. But I have to say, for I think you said not doing a show since high school.
That's right.
I think you're doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
It's been really good working with you.
Mom is doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
She is, and so I really appreciate the effort that you put in, and I'm excited to see the results starting to pay off. So, Lilla, what's it like working with your mom on this show?
Well, it's a little bit different than the last time. One is the cast, because the cast is just totally different. They're all funny and goofballs like me, so it's interesting. And my mom's always like, "Lilla, did you eat? Lilla, Lilla, Lilla." So she's always on top of me, and it's kind of weird to have my mom in the cast the whole time. So she's always watching over me.
Because she used to just drop you off at the rehearsals, right?
Yeah. It's kind of weird to have my mom wipe me and my mom like, "Shh, you're being too loud."
That's a very typical mom thing. And she gets to be a mom in this show, which is not at all a stretch.
No.
So, there's also been an interesting conglomeration of homeschoolers in this show, and so
all but one person.
Yeah, I think that's kind of an interesting thing. Even myself as a co-director, I'm a former homeschool graduate, and so it's been really interesting to have that in common and talk about some of those things that often were the odd people out in other spheres. So that's just kind of a side thing.
Yes.
I keep losing my questions. All right. So, you can talk a little bit about what it's like to work with me as well, but since I'm doing the interview, I want to focus on how you feel it's been like to work with John Miedema as a director. I don't usually get to ask this because usually I'm interviewing the directors, but this time and last time I decided to go the actor route, so I get to ask this question. So talk about working with the directors.
He always knows what to do. He's really good with this sort of stuff, so he's always like, "Okay, you're not doing this," and he knows how to make it perfect. And he can be funny sometimes.
Yes.
Also,
We've enjoyed John a lot. He's he works very hard to make sure that it's a very well put together production. He really is trying earnestly. We definitely see that with him, but he also has a lot of fun with the cast and with the production, and I think it's going to come out when the play starts.
I will say too that for both John and I, we have a really intense connection with the show itself, and so for us to be able to bring the show to life, it's really exciting. I've always tried to choose shows that I really wanted to be a part of, because when you have a passion for it, it comes through in your work. Like when I did when I worked on To Kill a Mockingbird, or when I worked on The Sound of Music. Those were along with this role, and It's a Wonderful Life. Those were all roles that I particularly enjoyed because I resonated so much with the story itself. So I definitely think that's a key when you're going in to do auditions or whatever. And I definitely think that might have been a challenge in getting people to try out too, because it's not necessarily a popular show. Right. But I do hope that people will come and see it, because I think they'll be pleasantly surprised that comedy reverberates through the generations, and it's still as funny now as it was then. So, can you talk about what it's like to work with the rest of the cast? Maybe something specific.
Whenever we are backstage, all the kids are backstage because we're not in the parts. There's always laughing, always.
That's been a really interesting part about this cast. And Lilla, like I said, has been in several shows in different places, and so she's had experience with different casts. And every time it's just very different dynamics. But with this one, even she says there's just a lot of laughing going on, which is great because it's a comedy. But it seems like most people have a very good sense of humor, and I think everyone tries to get along. And there's some new people in the cast, including me, that have not been in shows before.
And Kathy, actually. She's pretty new.
Well, she was in Cats at Circle.
Yeah.
So there are some new people, so that's kind of fun to get the dynamics, a little bit of nervousness, but still everyone is trying to help each other out and just make it the best production that we can, which is really a lot of fun.
I think the neat thing is there's always a little bit of second guessing when you're trying to cast a show like this. I know John and I agonized about a couple roles in particular, but so there's always a certain wild card feeling, if you will, as to how people will actually gel, because you can't have everybody read with everybody.
Right.
But to see this cast developing a sense of family is really cool, especially since it is a family show. And you know, I have friends that have been my friends for years that have been the result of Master Art shows, and so I really do believe in the power of family here at Master Arts, particularly because we have our Christian faith in common, because there's nothing stronger than that as a bond. So I really appreciate having this available. All right. Do you know the run of the show?
I'm pretty sure it's June 8th through the 24th.
That is correct. June 8th through the 24th. And for the most part, it's a couple Thursday nights, Friday nights, and then 2 on Saturday, except on June 17th, we will have a matinee on Saturday, and then followed up with a special event with Lauren Chapin at a separate location at 7 p.m. on the 17th. So you'll want to get information about that as well. And you can get tickets. I'm just going to go ahead and add that information. You can get tickets by going to masterarts.org or calling 616-455-1001 during regular office hours of 9 to 5. All right, well, I have one more question for both you and Lilla to answer one at a time. And that is, if you were to tell someone in 30 to 45 seconds why should they come see Father Knows Best, what would you say? Amy first.
Okay, I would say come to see Father Knows Best, first of all, to support a local community theater that is Christian-based, and really it's a ministry here, so that's always a good thing, and we would love to have you come, but also because it is a great family show, and I think it'll be really enjoyed by all the generations, and it can be, so.
Me, what I'd say is that it's good for all kids, because you don't have to worry about your kids hearing bad words and stuff, because there's nothing bad in it. It's just plain fun and funniness for the whole family, from an old grandpa to a young 5-year-old.
All right, well, that's great, and I really appreciate you guys taking some time to talk to me today. And I would just say as well that John and I were talking as we've been putting together the show, that one of the things we like about it is because as you see the earthly family play out and the father trying to make good decisions for his family, you realize the parallel between that imperfect father sometimes making foibles and the fact that our Heavenly Father really does know best. And just the way that we can convey a nuclear family the way God designed it, with a mom and a dad who love each other, even though they're not perfect, they love their kids. And so that's been an awesome thing to be a part of. So we hope that everyone listening will come out and see the show. Tickets are on sale and they always go fast. Remember that Master Arts is an intimate venue, which means about 100 tickets is a sellout. And I think some of the shows are already starting to sell out as we're recording this, so make sure that you get your tickets and come see us, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, thank you very much, and see you at the show. All right, and there you have it, my interview with Amy and Lilla Hornek. I want to thank them for taking the time to join us, and to just also say I realize the audio quality on that was not as good as some of my other interviews, and hopefully you learn from experience. But I hope that you were able to get the gist of the interview and enjoy it for what it was, and I hope that you will get on masterarts.org or call Master Arts at 616-455-1001 between 9 and 5. Either today when you're listening, or after you listen, or sometime in the next couple of days, so that you can make sure that you get your ticket and they don't run out. Because it will be a fun show, and we hope to have as many of you out as possible to support us, and also just to enjoy some fun, clean family entertainment. So, Adam, do you have any thoughts?
I'd say definitely get to the show. In fact, I just got my ticket this week. I'm going because this sounds like an absolute blast. And, life gets crazy. Sometimes you need a night out just to laugh, and this is going to be a perfect night to do that.
All right. Well, that's all we have for you this week. But I hope that you will stay tuned. As I said, we will be interviewing Lauren Chapin, Lord willing, in the next couple of weeks. And we will be very grateful to share that with you. And again, come to the show. And as I said, there is a special event with Lauren Chapin on the 17th of June. Please go on masterarts.org and look at that event separately. I believe it's $17, $17 for that event, where she will come personally and give her testimony, and I believe she'll also be autographing copies of her book at that time. So if you want to hear from Lauren Chapin, the real-life Kathy from the TV show, that would be a great opportunity to not only hear about what it was like to work on a classic TV show, but then to hear about the journey that God took her on to find out that her Father in heaven really did know best. So make sure you check out that event as well. And with that, I think that's all we have for you this week. So I'll just end by saying, have a great weekend and keep serving the best of masters.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Your host has been Andrew Gomison, founder of Speaking for Him, alongside his co-host and executive producer, Adam McNutt. For more information on today's show and to leave us comments and voicemails, visit speakingforhim.blogspot.com. You can find Andrew's ministry at speakingforhim.com. That's speaking, 4, HIM. You can also interact with us at facebook.com/speakingforhim and on Twitter @SpeakingForHim. And when you look for us on iTunes and Stitcher, let us know what you think of the podcast by leaving a rating and review.